And today we're going to be talking about outings. All the puppy raisers recently just had a cute little outing to the farmer's market, so I figured it'd be a good time to talk about that. So equipment on outings. So CCI dogs have to have obviously their yellow vest, so they're marked as a service dog in training. So that can either be their puppy vest, which is like a little cape you can tie around them, or the easier vest, which is the buckle one that you see on Zinger. And then they have to have their gentle lead. I had a black one for Naya. As you can see, we try to match it to the skin color of the dog so people don't ask questions because they usually think it's a muzzle and it's not. And then you can have a leash. You can use a variety of leashes. The collar, we usually put the UMW collars on the pups. And then there's a CCI tag that they give you that kind of has their information on it just in case anything happens. And then the most important thing is a tag silencer. So a tag silencer goes over the tag, and then you can't hear it like jingle and stuff when you're in stores or you're in restaurants, so it kind of keeps them quiet. Optional things you can put on your dog: a bandana, as long as it's not covering the CCI logo. I put many bandanas on Naya while I had her. You can do boots. So I know Zinger, she got boots for Zinger during the winter time because they put salt on campus and that can be hard on their paws. And then you can make your own tag. It's not recommended you make your own tag for them, but you can if you want to. And then, yeah, so that's kind of like what our pups look like when they go on outings. So then handlers. So if you're a handler of a CCI dog, you're basically bringing a baby bag full of things when you're first starting out. So I had a backpack and I brought cleaning wipes just in case they had an accident in the store. CCI gives you this cute little info card. I don't know, Rebecca, do you have it?
I do. It's in the other room though. I can grab it though. It takes me.
So there's like an info card you could give to somebody if they needed to see it. They're not going to ask for it or anything, but just in case. And then you can bring your treat bag. As you can see, Alex has on her waist. They recently upgraded to new ones where you can just clip it around your waist like a little fanny pack. And then you can put kibble in there, which is recommended, or some high values if you're going into a new area. Of course, you want to have poop bags, extra leashes just in case. Blankets if you're going to go somewhere for a long time and they're going to lay down. Toys, if you see our dogs in classes, sometimes they'll have toys they can chew on if they're a little bit younger. And then information cards that you can fill out with your name, number, email, and stuff like that. So Alex is perfectly showing what we should look like when we're out in public. So the pups on outings. So our puppies are not allowed to go in public until they have all their puppy shots, which is about 4 to 5 months. So body language is a huge thing to go off of when you're bringing your pup into a new environment. You want to watch signs of being nervous, scared, or overwhelmed. Because if they are nervous or scared, they may not want to go back into that environment again, or they might be scared of that environment. So then where are you bringing your pup is another thing. Are you bringing them into a loud environment? Is there a lot of people there? What kind of sounds do you think you're going to encounter while you're there? And then the awareness of other people, especially little kids, because they love to see your dog in public. They go, oh, mommy, there's a puppy, oh my God. And then you're kind of like, like, no. I definitely got that a lot because when I bring Naya to Target all the time, and I know everyone else does as well. You always get those little kids that are running down the aisles and you're like, yeah, no, sorry. But I know all of our pups went to the farmer's market this weekend, so if they would like to share anything that they saw from their pup or what in the environment they saw at the farmer's market that may be in question for the dog.
Yeah, so The farmer's market was a lot of fun. Especially when you go on outings that have other puppies and puppy raisers. It's very low pressure and really nice because it gives, it kind of lets the handler kind of calm down a little bit. It's like, okay, if something goes wrong, there are other people here to support me. The farmer's market is nice because it's all outside, so you don't have to worry about accidents too much because that's something that the dogs will do if they get overwhelmed. I know at the farmer's market this weekend, everyone was really respectful of the fact that like it was obvious these dogs were not pet dogs and didn't stop to ask and pet them. And you still get your kids that are like, oh my god, puppy, but not many of them tried to come up and pet the dogs. It was really nice. I know different signs for Zinger of being overwhelmed or nervous. He kind of starts to pull a little bit. He wants to see and smell everything, but for him that's more of like an anxiety thing and overwhelmed. And then something that's really common with dogs, especially when they're in very loud and crowded places. Thankfully, Zinger didn't do this weekend, but if they get overwhelmed, they'll just shut down. And so sometimes you'll hear puppy raisers go, oh my gosh, the dog did so well. They just laid under the seat and they didn't move. That's actually really not a good thing. If they sit down or lay down and go to sleep for like 3 hours at a time in the middle of the day, that probably means they're overwhelmed. But there are lots of different signs of dogs, of how they handle environments and things like that. But yeah.
I know Rebecca is really good at this, so if you want to talk about what happened when you were giving Augie a bath and if you saw anything this weekend as well.
So with Augie, with bathing, when he was really little, we worked with like a hair dryer, but we didn't actually ever have an industrial dryer. So when Simone and I took him, we were really careful on how much we exposed him to the dryer. Like he was not fully dry when we were done, but he started to kind of shrink away. He didn't make eye contact as much with me, which this dog, he makes a lot of eye contact. So when he starts to get like not focused on that, you know that he's reached his point. At the farmer's market, I didn't actually handle him. Paige was awesome and had a hold of him for me, but I was able to watch like some of the body language that sometimes when you're handling a dog and trying to navigate. So like I knew when he had to go to the bathroom, he started to do a little bit of a waddle that sometimes you can't see when you're handling. So it was really nice to be able to see that kind of stuff. He tends to just, with him, he like sometimes he'll just reach a limit and he'll just bolt. But he didn't do that. So thankfully we had a really good outing and he was really attentive and, he focused to the best of his 6 months.
Yes, he did. I know. They did so great this weekend. Okay, if you want to go to the next slide, that'd be great. So what you're probably most interested in is our pups on campus. So let's say you come across Rebecca and Augie on campus. What do? You can talk to her about CCI, talk to her about her day, honestly, ask her how she is. Don't talk to Augie. He's working on campus. She has a specific job for him to do while you're talking to her. So always talk to the handler first and not the dog. You'd be surprised by how many people talk to the dog first before they talk to us. It's just how it is. And then you can ask to pet Augie if you want to, and we might say yes, we might say no. It kind of just depends on the day and what we're working on during that time, and if we're in a rush to go to class or go somewhere. And educate your friends. Say you're walking down Campus Walk and you see these 3 lovely ladies walking down. You're like, hey, that's a CCI dog. And then your friend goes, what's CCI? And then look, you're educated on CCI, so you tell them about it. And the most important thing is to let the pup work. Let the handler go on campus. It might be their first time on campus. You don't know. They might be working on something that the dog has been fearful of. I know Zeus, Zinger's brother, he had a lot of problems going over the crates and like the grates of campus. He did not want to go on them. So Riley made sure for people not to talk to him and stuff like that while he was doing that type of training. I don't know, Alex, does Zinger have any fears on campus that you've seen?
He definitely has a sensitivity to grates. I wouldn't say an outright fear like Zeus does. Other than that, he doesn't really have any. I've been really lucky with him that everything, as long as I expose it to him a little bit at a time, he's been pretty chill with.
What's your most like interesting experience you've had with a student with Zinger on campus?
I'd say there's a couple. The most recent one though is there's a girl in one of my classes who basically like doesn't acknowledge that I exist. She only talks to Zinger. So that's always fun, and it's kind of one of those scenarios where it's like, hey, my eyes are up here sort of thing, because I'm like, stop talking to my dog, like she'll distract him during class, when I leave, things like that. And it doesn't matter, sometimes it just doesn't matter the amount of education you try to give them, and it's like, hey, please ignore him, he's working. If you want to talk to me, like, I'm here, but please stop. But there's also different things that happen on campus, like what we call drive-by petting, where people will, like, especially in the tunnel where it's tight spaces, people will just like, as they walk by, put their hand out and like pet the dog as they walk by, or they, you know, call their name, because our dogs are kind of famous on campus in some aspects. And so they think they know what dog it is. And so they'll say their name out really loudly and try to distract them. Yeah, just things like that. I know Grace, one of the employees in the UC, she's the sweetest person ever, but she always tries to give Zinger commands when we're in the UC waiting in line at Panera. And like, love Grace. Every time I walk in, she knows what I want to drink. She always gives me my drink before I even ordered my food. It's the sweetest thing. I love her. But every single time she looks at Zinger and like has a full-on conversation with Zinger. But yeah, it's just, there are definitely different levels of education on campus. And sometimes people don't always listen to your education, but they usually have good intentions, and that's the important part.
I know people used to talk to Naya while she was pooping or while she was going to the bathroom. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you what was going through their minds, but to be like, oh my God, look at her. She's going to the bathroom. Like, and I'm like, leave her alone. Like, what? Rebecca, have you had any experiences with a younger puppy? I know that usually gets the attention of most people.
See, I think with being on a COVID campus with a puppy, they have definitely stayed away from him. He's not as easy to drive by pet because he is smaller. But like, I've definitely had encounters with like people talking to him and trying to give him commands. I think my favorite one was I walked by somebody and I was on my way to do something and he got distracted. So I corrected him and they thought I was correcting them. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like that, but I was correcting the dog. Like,
yes, usually when you say don't, little kids might look at you like, what? And you're like, no, sorry, talking to the dog. But that's kind of just an overview of outings. What we do as puppy raisers when we go on outing, we try to be the biggest advocate we can for CCI to make that graduate's life a little bit easier when they go out. So just a little promo we have. So we are selling stickers if you didn't know. So we have the bell tower sticker and then we have our circle one. So we sent out an email with the link. The link is also in the bio of our Instagram if you want to go buy one. And then the most exciting thing is we have a fundraiser going on at the Chipotle on Route 1, which is next to the Starbucks and Freddy's and stuff like that. I don't know if anybody's been over there, but it will be Saturday, October 17th from 5 to 9 p.m. I'm not sure. Can you order in there? I don't know if anybody has been. Can you go inside the Chipotle?
You can.
You can? Okay, so if you go into the Chipotle, you just have to present this flyer. We'll send it out and be like, hey, I'm with Step at UMW. And then they'll add that to our account. But if you're ordering online, socially distant, stuff like that, this is the code you will put in like the promo code at checkout. This will also go towards our account. We'll send this all out in an email so you have it with you. But I know some people don't have cars, are on campus, freshmen, things like that. Officers are willing to provide rides if needed. If you need one, just email us and we're happy to work with you. But we're really excited. It's a chance for you to come out, eat food, and see the dogs for once, because I know a lot of you have not seen us in person and we'd love to see you. So that's the end of me talking, but we have a Kahoot, which is always fun. So kind of just a trivia, little fun ending to our meeting. And then next week we have Kim and Naya talking about their experience with CCI and where they work, what they do, and stuff like that. And then the 20th, we are working on doing an in-person class on campus, of course, socially distant. We're going to send out a Google form and stuff like that for you to sign up, but we would love for you guys to come out so we can see you guys and you can see what these dogs can do. It'll kind of be like a little mock puppy class type thing. And then on the 27th, I am not promising this, it's just still in the works. We want to do painting with a pup. So we're thinking about buying like little pumpkins and then we'll put together like little packets for you guys and you can come meet us on campus. And then during that meeting, you'll be able to paint your own pumpkin with all of our pups. And we'll kind of just have like a Halloween themed party to have fun and to end October. But that's kind of what we have coming up.